What's up, everybody? I hope you're doing well. There is a phenomenon that I have just watched happen for so many therapists that it merits its own episode. And that's that experience of telling yourself that you're going to start a private practice, but then weeks go by, months go by, sometimes years go by, and it still hasn't happened yet. Or a variation of this that I see a lot is folks have started their practice and maybe you have like a Psychology Today profile up, and maybe you even have a steady stream of clients coming in, maybe through insurance or something similar, but you haven't like really started the practice of your dreams or like made it your own, and you've always wanted to maybe niche down, specialize in something specific, maybe get off those insurance panels, whatever it might be, and you still haven't done that even though you've been saying you're going to do that for a while. What's going on with this? Given that there's now such an abundance of information available on how to start a private practice, I mean, for goodness sakes, you can just log into ChatGPT, tell it that you're a therapist looking to start a private practice, give it a couple other bits of information, and ask for a step-by-step plan, and it will tell you. It will be pretty good advice. You can figure out the steps on paper to start a private practice really easily right now. So now that that initial barrier of like, what are the actual steps to starting a practice is no longer really a barrier anymore, I've witnessed kind of the next level of barrier emerge to the surface, and it can be a little bit more challenging for something like ChatGPT to help you address. So we're going to tackle some of those in today's episode. I've talked to a lot of therapists now over the years, and I've witnessed kind of three primary reasons that hold therapists back from really starting the practice that they want. So I'm going to highlight those reasons in today's episode and offer some advice, some feedback, some musings, if you will, to help you overcome any of those challenges you might be up against. So the first variable that seems to hold a lot of folks back from launching into private practice is analysis paralysis. According to Wikipedia, the definitive answer for all questions we might have in life, analysis paralysis, or paralysis by analysis, describes an individual or group process where overanalyzing or overthinking a situation can cause forward motion or decision-making to become paralyzed, meaning that no solution or course of action is decided upon within a natural time frame. Lack of access to information for how to start a private practice is no longer a barrier. Information is available everywhere, and everyone has advice for how to do it. Their steps are the best steps. Just join my proprietary 3-step program, or maybe they're not even selling anything. It's a blog, or it's an AI overview, or it's ChatGPT, or it's one of my things, and it says do this. And each person, each resource might have a different emphasis on how to go about doing it. And so given that, rather than the problem being like, I don't know what the steps are, it can start to look a lot more like there are so many steps and everyone has different advice about which step I should take, and I don't know which step is the best step. And so now I just don't even know where to start. And so effectively you've gone nowhere. I mean, I could just imagine at every single decision point in the process getting stuck on something like, do I start a virtual practice or an in-person or a hybrid practice? How do I market my practice? This person says that I should be on social media posting every day, but then this other person said that they filled their practice by networking, and this other person says the only way you can do it is by being on insurance panels. And how do I know which of these or something else is right for me? Actually, maybe I hate all of them. I don't know what to do. So if you're relating with this experience of analysis paralysis as you're watching, listening along, then my encouragement is to just make the best decisions you can with the information you have, knowing that you can change your mind later. Some decisions are easier to change your mind on like pretty quickly, like you bought that domain name and then you decide you want to get a different domain name, like maybe that cost you $12 or $20. And other decisions might be bigger ones, like you signed a 12-month lease to rent an office and then you change your mind to decide to do virtual from home. So you can take into consideration like how expensive, literally or figuratively, it would be for you to change your mind later. So my encouragement here is to just make the decision that makes the most sense to you based on what you know right now, moving forward from there onto the next step, knowing you can always go back and change it. The next common reason that holds a lot of folks back from building their private practice, I kind of alluded to already, and that's trying to follow along with somebody else's script. So whether it's ChatGPT, somebody you saw on TikTok, or, your old supervisor or somebody else, if somebody says, hey, this is the best way to start a private practice or market your practice or build your practice or whatever your practice, this is the best way, you should do it this way. For some folks, it might be a great fit, and so it just works. But there's going to be a lot of folks where portions of that advice or that script or those steps don't quite fit for you. And that's going to create some sort of dissonance. I think a lot of folks perceive the dissonance and misinterpret it as, resistance, or I'm lazy, I'm procrastinating, I just don't want to do it. And the reality is there's probably something genuine and authentic happening inside of you that's saying like, no, actually, that might not really fit for me. So I think if you're in this boat where you're really trying to follow along with somebody else's script, recommendations, advice for starting a private practice, and something's just not quite working for you, I would really pause and curiously try to get to know, like, what is that part of me trying to say? Like, is there something here that maybe doesn't quite fit? And it doesn't mean that that person's model is a bad model or that that person's a bad person or anything. It just might mean like, hey, that person did it that way and it was great for them, and I might be doing it this other way and that might work better for me. It's really helpful to kind of know what your values are when it comes to starting a private practice. And if you don't yet know what your values are, you can discover them as you look at other people's roadmaps for how to start a private practice. So I think it is still wise to get roadmaps for how to start a private practice, but not so that you can follow it exactly to the letter, step by step per se, but so that you can kind of see how your system reacts. Like if somebody says like, yeah, you should be seeing 25 clients by the end of your first month. And if you have a reaction to that, well, that reaction is telling you something important about your values. So when you look at the roadmap, you want to see where those reactions are, get to know what's going on behind them. And then you can start to pull bits and pieces from other people's roadmap and make your own roadmap. Do it your way. People are going to have great advice, but you don't have to follow their advice to the T, especially if you're wanting to make your practice your own. And the last most common reason I see folks really get hung up on getting their private practice off the ground is inaccurate beliefs that someone has about themselves. We get to the part where we'll say, okay, so your next step is to, fill in the blank, whatever it is, buy a domain name or, whatever the next step is on paper. And then they'll get stuck. And as I try to understand what's going on for this person that they feel stuck, there's some core belief or misinformation about themselves that they're holding that's making them feel like, yeah, that's the next step, but I can't actually do that. Whether it's, I'm too young to start a private practice. I mean, hello, that was me. Started at 25, understood. Other common beliefs I'll hear like, I'm not business savvy enough to start a private practice. I don't have enough years of experience maybe to start a private practice. Whatever inaccurate belief you might have about yourself, just take a moment to challenge it. You might need to phone a friend on this one and invite other folks to help you call it into question. Like, is it actually true that I'm too young for private practice? Or do I need to have a certain amount of business savvy to start? And then maybe just switch it to, can I? Even if I'm young, can I start a private practice? Is that what I want? Is it possible? Even if I don't have business savvy, can I start a private practice? If I wanted to, what would that entail since I don't have this business savvy? Like, just shift it to like, but wait, can I? Is it possible? Where's the snag then? What would I need to do or work on in order to be able to get there? Well, there's certainly other reasons that can hold folks back from starting a private practice or turning their practice into the practice of their dreams. But these are some really common ones that I've just witnessed pop up for therapists over and over again. And regardless of where you are in the private practice process, if you have any advice that you would add to this list, like here's what helped me overcome feeling stuck, feel free to add it in the comments below because your feedback might be helpful to somebody else who's reading through them. Or if you are needing that practical step-by-step support on how to get started, I do have my free checklist available as well. That's linked in the description of this episode. And before we close, I'd like to thank TherapyNotes.com for sponsoring this video. TherapyNotes helps with all of your practice management needs, from scheduling to notes to billing. They have a HIPAA-secure telehealth platform included for free for all users, and so much more. If you'd like to check out TherapyNotes, you can get 2 months to try it for free with no commitment just by clicking the link in the description of this video. Well, thanks again for joining me on this one. I am kind of surprised I hadn't made this episode yet, but I'm just seeing it pop up more and more and more the more information that's available out there on starting a private practice. So it was time. And until next time, from one therapist to another, I wish you well.